The sun, the source of life and light, is always in the sky, providing heat and energy. But what about this kind-hearted star who is about to unleash a storm of reckless power? Imagine waking up one morning to find that the world has changed overnight. The sky is lit up with different lights, communication systems are down, the technology we rely on is gone. This is not a remote possibility. This is a serious threat that scientists are increasingly concerned about. As they monitor the sun's erratic activity, the question arises, could there be a solar storm of negative particles on the horizon? The stakes are higher than ever, and the clock is ticking, the sun is going crazy, and scientists are wondering what this means for us. We are currently in the middle of a solar cycle where a solar magnetic storm on the scale of the Carrington Event of 1859 may occur. Punish us? To understand the magnitude of this threat, we need to look at the inner workings of the sun, where the forces are beyond our control. The sun's magnetic field is a complex and dynamic force, created by massive convection currents that churn within its fiery interior. These currents generate a force field through processes of induction and deduction, ensuring that masses of extremely hot solar material are constantly whirled up, creating the magnetic field that shields us from the sun's raw power. We are deeply dependent on this magnetic field. It determines which particle currents, known as solar winds, reach Earth and with what intensity. While these currents are essential for life, warming our planet and allowing vegetation to flourish, they can also become our downfall. The last time the sun unleashed its fury was during the 19th century when a massive solar storm, known as the Carrington Event, paralyzed the still young electrical infrastructure for days. But now, in our interconnected world, the consequences of a similar event can be even more dire. In 1859, the world experienced solar power like never before. The Carrington Event, named after British astronomer Richard Carrington, who first observed a solar flare, was a wake-up call for humanity. Telephone systems went down around the world, sparks flew from telephone lines, and the night sky was lit up with bright northern lights that could be seen as far south as the Caribbean. The event was the most intense geomagnetic storm on record and highlighted the vulnerability of our technology to solar activity. Today, because we rely on electricity and technology, a repeat of the Carrington tragedy may be dangerous. Power grids go down, communication systems fail, and the global economy suffers. As technology continues to advance, our vulnerability to solar storms increases. Our world is now a network of interconnected systems that are all dependent on electricity. A severe solar storm can cause massive power outages, disrupt satellite communications and disrupt flights. Hospitals, financial systems and critical infrastructure can be paralyzed, causing chaos and panic. The most frightening aspect of this threat is its unpredictability. Although scientists can monitor solar activity and predict solar cycles, the exact timing and strength of solar storms are not known with certainty. The sun's magnetic field is constantly changing, and we are in the midst of a solar cycle that could bring about a Carrington effect. To understand true anger, we need to look at the origin of the sun. About 4.5 billion years ago, our sun was born in a cloud of gas and dust. Its structure is one of the great mysteries of science. What we do know is that this collection of moving dust and gas, combining hydrogen atoms and helium atoms, produces a lot of heat and light. This fusion process continues to this day, producing the sun's energy. The sun's magnetic field is the result of complex interactions in electrical and magnetic processes that are not yet fully understood. This field is dynamic and changes over time, resulting in diurnal changes related to the behavior of the sun and its effects on the Earth. One of the main concerns is where the sun's magnetic field reverses or collapses. This phenomenon can lead to severe solar storms and adverse effects on Earth. The magnetic field acts as a shield, protecting us from the full force of the sun's particle streams. If this shield is weakened or absent, we will be exposed to the sun's rays, which will cause harm to our planet. Although the exact timing of such an event is unclear, the signs are ominous. In recent years, scientists have noticed unusual activity in the sun, leading them to question whether we are approaching a supersolar storm. In the spring of 2024, scientists discovered an unusual spot in the sun where the strongest solar storms occurred in the first half of the year. The intensity of these storms has caused auroras to appear in places where they cannot be seen, such as southern Europe, Hawaii, and Australia. Although the power outage was localized, it could have been a larger event. If this is just the beginning, what will the end of this solar cycle bring? And is this already over, or are we headed for something much bigger in the years to come? The sun is so unpredictable these days that scientists are confused and questioning their understanding of how the sun works. Forecasting solar storms is a challenging task. Although scientists have made great progress in understanding solar cycles and monitoring solar activity, there is still much we do not know. The current solar cycle, which is expected to peak in 2025, is being watched by scientists. However, the sun has behaved erratically, with solar storms occurring at random times and stronger than predicted. This uncertainty raises concerns about our ability to accurately predict and prepare for a major solar event. The gaps are huge, and the consequences of being caught out of the loop can be dire. A solar storm the size of the Carrington Event will hit Earth. Power grids fail on a massive scale, leading to prolonged blackouts in major cities around the world. Communication networks, including the Internet, can be disrupted, disrupting access to important information and services. Air traffic can be disrupted, and aircraft may be forced to land due to failure of navigation systems. As electronics and banking systems collide, financial markets may be disrupted. The economic damage can reach billions of dollars, the impact on society will be greater, and there will be a lot of fear and chaos as people struggle to avoid the loss of new wealth. To reduce the risk of solar storms, monitoring the local weather has become an important study. Satellites carrying advanced equipment continuously monitor the sun and detect signs of solar activity and provide early warning of possible storms. Observers on the ground will also play an important role in monitoring solar flares and other signs of an approaching storm. Despite these efforts, the challenge of predicting the exact timing and impact of such events remains. As our reliance on technology continues to grow, so does the need to accurately predict space weather. Governments and organizations around the world are working to prepare for the possibility of a major solar storm. Infrastructure is being improved to withstand a geomagnetic storm, and contingency plans are being developed to deal with the consequences. However, there is still much work to be done. Public awareness of the dangers of solar storms is limited, and more education is needed to make people aware of the importance of being prepared. The power of the solar storm is real. Now is the time to act. Despite our ability to understand and predict the actions of the sun remains a mysterious and unpredictable force. Recent discoveries have shown that the sun is behaving in ways that scientists never imagined, raising concerns that we may be on the verge of a major solar event. A reversal of the magnetic field or a sudden increase in solar activity could result in a solar storm stronger than anything we've experienced before. It is difficult to predict the consequences of such a situation, but one thing is certain: we must be prepared for the unexpected. As we move into a world of technological advancement, the dangers of solar radiation cannot be ignored. The sun, which has nurtured life on Earth for billions of years, will become a source of destruction if we are not careful. The potential for severe solar storms is very real, and the time to prepare is now. By investing in space,